Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and the lion, Mr. Bear, and today we're going to show you stretches for a sore neck after a workout or starting a new exercise program. So let's get started.
Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert.
So for these neck stretches, you don't need any extra equipment. So a lot of times the neck muscles and the shoulder muscles are all connected. So these are great for the shoulder as well if you've got those sore muscles, especially when you're working out. A lot of times people, if they're starting for the first time or haven't exercised in a long time, you kind of tense up and that's where you get that soreness in those neck muscles. So the first one is just going to be an upper trap stretch. This is one of my favorites. You can do it a couple different ways. I usually like to sit on my hand on the side that I want to stretch, but you can also put your hand behind you if you don't want to sit on it, or you can just leave it relaxed. You'll still get a good stretch, but you're going to get a little bit better stretch by doing it this way because you're keeping that shoulder down, so you're going to get a better stretch. So I'm just going to sit on it. I'm going to take my other hand and bring it up over my head where my fingers are just kind of lightly on that ear over there. So with the upper trap stretch, you're just bringing it over to the side. So you're not really turning your head up or down. You can, but you'll get different muscles for those. So when you're first starting out, I just like gently pulling over to the side here. I'm getting a nice stretch through that upper trap area. Again, up into the neck, all the way down into the shoulder. Again, you can kind of put your hand behind your back if you don't really want to sit on it, or you can just leave your hand like this and get that nice stretch. So you're going to hold it for 30 seconds and then do that 3 times on each side. So then, this time I'm going to have it behind my back. My hand comes up and over to the ear, and I just gently pull over and get a nice, good stretch. I feel it kind of all the way up, almost in the top of the neck, behind my ear, all the way down into the shoulder. If you're interested in following along with some real-time stretches where I'm doing the whole routine, you can check out the link up there. I got a whole bunch of real-time stretches for you. So then the next one is another one of my favorites, which is the Levator scapulae stretch. And that Levator scapulae muscle is the one that comes all the way up into that cervical spine or the neck up there and goes all the way down to the shoulder blade. And a lot of times when we're stressed out or maybe we're working really hard in the gym, that muscle gets overworked because we kind of bring those shoulders up towards our ears, and that's overworking that muscle. So if they're sore, tight, or painful, this is a great one. Again, you can do a couple of different positions with your hand. I like to bring my elbow up and just place my hand kind of back on my shoulder blade back there. That's the way I learned it, but I know this is very uncomfortable for some people, especially if you're really sore. So you can also put your hand behind your back. I just like doing it this way because I feel like I get the best stretch with that. So this time you're going to take your other hand and bring it almost up and behind, like I always say, like you're putting a helmet on your head. And then you're going to come down at an angle with your nose. So almost like a 45-degree angle, like you're trying to take your nose to your opposite knee, or some people like to say like you're trying to tuck your nose into your armpit. So up and over and then kind of pulling down this way. And so again, I'm getting that nice stretch all the way almost up to the base of the skull, all the way down into the shoulder blade there, getting that nice stretch. And this is a great one. Try not to curl down. That takes away from it a little bit. Keep your back upright if you can. And then again, holding that stretch for 30 seconds, doing that 3 times on each side. Again, if that elbow up towards the ceiling is uncomfortable, you can kind of put your hand behind your back, bring your head up, and then tuck it in kind of down into that armpit or that little bit of a 45-degree angle. You can again also just place your hand here if it's uncomfortable, either way, but you're going to get a little bit better stretch if you're keeping that shoulder blade down to get that stretch. So the next one is going to be for the scalene muscles and the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid in there. And so these are the SCM is what people call it because it's a really long muscle name. Comes all the way up to that bone right there and then all the way down, and then your scalenes are kind of around in the front there. So I always call this the portrait pose. I just kind of think it's a fun way because you look like you're posing for a portrait. But so if I want to stretch, I'm holding this collarbone down and then just kind of pulling it downwards a little bit, and then I'm going to side bend and rotate away. So see, it looks like I'm posing. And I'm going to get all those muscles around in there stretched, the scalenes and the SCM. And I'm just gently pulling down on my collarbone. Again, you don't have to do that, but I feel like you get just a little bit better stretch if you do that and it's not painful. So again, holding that for 30 seconds, then kind of coming back, holding this side, doing the side bend, and then rotating away, almost like I'm looking up towards the corner of the ceiling there, and I'm getting a nice stretch through there. This is also good if you have something like thoracic outlet syndrome or TOS, because that really helps open up that area there. So again, 30 seconds, 3 times on each side. Then the next one, this is going to be a chest stretch, and so sometimes people don't associate the chest muscles or those pec muscles with neck soreness, but all these muscles, again, they're connected to the shoulder's connected to the neck. So especially if you're doing rolled forward shoulders, that's going to really put stress on your neck as well. So it's nice to stretch these out. So a simple one to do, so you don't have to get up and stand in a corner or a doorway, is just to kind of take your hands and clasp them behind you. So what you're going to do is you're going to push down and out, and then just kind of push your chest forward. And so I'm feeling that stretch through those pec muscles right there. And this is great. It's really comfortable. Sometimes it's uncomfortable for people if they have a hard time getting their hands clasped behind them. I've had people say, what do I do if I can't get my hands together? You can take a towel or a strap and hold it so then you're not completely together, but still do the same movement. So if I'm not holding my hands together and I'm just kind of pushing back like this, I'm actually still getting a pretty good chest stretch doing that. But if you can get them closer together, even if you're still holding the towel, the closer together you can get them, the little bit better stretch you get in those chest muscles. So just really, again, holding that stretch for that 30 seconds, doing that 3 times. But if you need to hold on to a towel or just kind of push your arms back, you should still get a pretty good stretch with that. The next one is, again, one of my favorites. If you've seen any of my neck shoulder videos, the chin tuck is really one of my favorites. It's a stretch, but it's also kind of an exercise, but it does a really good job of resetting these muscles, especially our postural muscles. Not only if you've been working out to get those stress out, but if you've been working on a computer for a long time, you kind of bring those neck muscles forward. They get stressed out and irritated and sore. And so chin tuck is one of my favorites to kind of reset everything and get those muscles loosened up again. So it's not tucking down, but it's actually bringing your head back. So the key for these is you want to keep your chin in a neutral position. So you don't want it going up, you don't want it going down. One of my PT friends says, settle in, lengthen your neck and settle your chin. And that's a really good way to kind of think of it. And so you kind of get it up, settle that chin in, and then just gently try and push back if you can. Now, if you haven't done these before, try not to force it because a lot of times it can be a little painful. I have more movement because I do these a lot with my neck issues, but sometimes I'll tell people use your finger as a target, because if you have a target, then sometimes it's easier to figure out how to do the movement. So I say just, place your finger on your chin, leave your finger there, and try and bring that chin away from your finger. Hold it for maybe 3 to 5 seconds and then release. And then a lot of times you have a little bit of space in between, which means those muscles are resetting themselves. So it's nice to kind of see that visual, because sometimes people are like, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. But if you have that target and you do that and you bring it back and there's a little bit of space and you're like, okay, yeah, I can do that a little bit. So again, maybe this one's not that full 30-second hold, 3 to 5 seconds, maybe do 5 at a time. So there you have it. Those were stretches for a sore neck after a workout or starting a new exercise program. If you'd like to help support my channel, you can become a paid member by clicking the join button or clicking on the link in the description below. I know, Mr. Bear, you'll get extra perks, sneak peeks, and other fun things. So remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.